I do think it's good though to live where, like, near where you work. It kind of helps, right?
Yeah, I live very close to where I work, and it makes the commute a dream. And I'm concerned because I'm moving away, but I'm moving away to an area where, in the last 2 weekends, they've opened up a new road, and the reports from it this weekend are that the flyover is making the journey much more smooth. There's people talking about it on Twitter, why traffic is totally decreased.
Yeah.
So more people will probably move there. But streets lined in Deira last night after T20 World Cup, as we said. The vibes were impeccable as always. I love how you're able to get out and just celebrate your country win.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, even though it's India versus Pakistan and stuff, and but you can still see the people from both of these countries celebrating together on the street. Like, it's really nice to see, honestly.
Well, I don't know if there was many Pakistanis celebrating.
Right, that makes sense.
I'm just thinking if it was England and Ireland, and if Ireland beat England, the country would shut down. Doesn't matter what the sport, we're very proud.
Yeah,
but I don't think you would see English people celebrating.
Probably not. They would be a little, I get that.
Nice little neighbourly rivalry there with a bit of history attached. Let's jump into our top story of the day. This is an exciting week for everyone.
Oh, yeah. So UAE experts are urging everyone not to observe moon sightings on the 17th. So if you're thinking of playing at Moonspotter this February, the UAE astronomers are actually saying maybe you shouldn't. Experts, including the International Astronomical Center, are urging residents not to attempt sighting of the Ramadan crescent on February 17, 2026. Why? Because the moon will be extremely close to the sun, making it practically impossible to see. And here's the serious part. Trying to spot it using binoculars or telescopes without proper solar filters can cause retinal burns, permanent eye damage, or even blindness. God forbid.
So the intense sunlight doesn't just threaten your eyesight, it can also wreck your lenses, your equipment. Astronomers say the crescent simply won't meet the visibility conditions on this date. And so there's really no reason to risk your eyes or your equipment. There will be clearer, safer evenings to welcome the holy month.
So, when does Ramadan start? You might be asking. Ramadan is expected to begin on February 18 or 19, depending on the official sighting. The UAE's Moon Sighting Committee will meet on the evening of February 17 to confirm the exact date. They're the experts. So until then, you should protect your eyes and let the experts handle it.
So exciting. Speaking of things happening at the weekend, I saw the Al Nafora pre-iftar event happening at the Montgomery.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of pre-iftar events right now. They're so nice. It gives you a glimpse of what you could look forward to.
Giving people the taster, and this looked sensational, but we don't know when we can actually go as a public to go and visit just yet. What days? So it's Thursday. In my head it's Thursday, but we're still waiting for the official confirmation.
Right, yeah. So it's going to be either the 18th or 19th. Even though the crescent won't be visible on the 17th, you could still kind of go along the lines of astronomical calculations instead of moon sighting. It's best to do both. Just to be on the safest side, it's best to do both. But obviously the experts are saying they will handle the moon sighting part, and the astronomical calculations are already there. And that's why countries like Oman have already announced that the beginning of Ramadan for them will be Thursday, February 19th. So for us, we're still waiting. We're still going to see. It might be Wednesday. It might be Thursday.
It's really interesting. So some countries choose to do it differently, and we're waiting for the moon sighting committee to confirm.
So some countries kind of like gather together in a way. The UAE and Saudi, for example, they are always like together along with the GCC countries, except for Oman. Countries like Oman, Egypt, Jordan, I think Lebanon, all these countries are kind of like together, and they all kind of rely on the moon sighting because it could be observed relatively differently depending on where you are. So sometimes Ramadan may begin and end one day different from other countries. and that happened last year as well. I think Ramadan began across the board same day, but Ramadan ended on the 29th day in the UAE and ended on the 30th day in Egypt. And I was in Egypt at the time, so I had one day longer. I had an extra day of Ramadan last year, and here it had ended a day early.
So the last day of the holy month is also determined by next month's moon sighting.
It's a long process. Like there's so much. There's so much to it. Obviously, I don't know what I would be looking at in regards to moon sighting and everything. So, but I just kind of, listen to the news and see what they're doing and see what everyone is saying. But for the UAE, they're going to be handling the moon sighting, and they're going to be doing that on the 17th. And they are warning you guys not to tag along on that. Let them handle it.
And then when it begins, we know it seems to be kind of business as usual in terms of what we experienced in the UAE last year. And so if you're working in a regular private sector job, you'll have 2 hours less per day. The government has also encouraged private sector jobs to look at whether or not it's possible to work from home if the job stipulates it. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Generally, you find less traffic on the streets. Also, schools are allowed to choose their start time and end time, provided they're doing 5 hours per day. Schools will end at 11:30 on Fridays, and all public schools will be work from home or school from home on Fridays.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Tricky for the parents.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Tricky for the parents. But speaking of being tricky for the parents, if you are the parent of a teenager, how do you handle social media, and what age do you think they should be allowed access to it? Well, it's not just your problem to answer. UAE is now also seeking to regulate kids' social media use, as we see other countries look to do the same in 2026. The UAE is exploring new rules around how children use social media, and they're focusing on keeping young users safe online.
At its second meeting, 2026, the Education, Human Development and Community Development Council discussed creating clear framework to guide children's digital use. Chaired by Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the council stressed that protecting children online is a national responsibility, and any regulations must keep pace with rapid tech changes.
Key points under this discussion will include age-based access rules tailored to different developmental stages, a phased risk-based rollout of regulations, stronger digital safety protections for young users,
aligning education, family and community policies, updating curricula, and reviewing student assessment outcomes.
The goal overall is to create a safer, balanced digital environment while preparing future generations for a tech-driven world. A phased approach is expected, ensuring protections are effective without disrupting access to learning and communication. It's really interesting to see this conversation developing, because I think what we've seen in the last year is a committed international effort by countries to look at social media use for teenagers and say, is this okay? Because I think when social media happened, like, there's age limits and things, but everyone has access to a social media account from the age of 13. Most platforms allow it. But Australia was the country to make the biggest move this year, and they have banned social media for under 16s. They've gotten the most press, but I've seen Spain, France, Malaysia, Portugal, Denmark and Greece. They're also actually quite far along. So thinking Australia is the outlier is incorrect here. A lot of countries are actually looking, they're in consultation phases, they're in feasibility stages to see, can this actually be implemented, and will it be accepted? Will parents accept it? Will teachers accept it?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about teachers. I guess to some degree, students will be using social media for like sometimes for like educational purposes. Maybe a little bit rarely, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it's embedded in daily life now that 13, 14, 15-year-olds will want to use social media, and it almost feels like they won't be part of like the community. I don't know. I feel like it's just so embedded in everyone's daily life that it's almost like it's gonna be hard for them not to have access.
Well, that's why these moves are so groundbreaking. That's why Australia's saying we're banning it is so groundbreaking, because it is so embedded in daily life. You've got parents trying to make their kids famous on social media who are under 16.
Oh yeah, there's also that.
There's also that, and then you just have general day-to-day life. The social life is taking place at home on social media, and that's why it's not just the government who needs to make the call, but you also need schools to get behind it. You need parents to get behind it. We had a college kid on the show recently. He's living in Australia, Dubai based, and I asked him about it, and he said he thinks it's amazing, and he wishes that, you know, growing up would have been less focused on social media in the last couple of years for him. But he said everyone just gets fake accounts. So to actually implement this would be really, really hard. However, I think it's fantastic that the governments are making a very steady approach, and I like the phased approach that the UAE is going for.
Oh yeah, I feel like that will take things a little bit slowly, and the integration will happen a little bit more smoothly, and obviously schools will get behind it, parents will get behind it. It'll take a little bit of time, which is probably better because we're so ingrained to like rely so heavily on social media. But then it makes me wonder, like, what's social media here? Is it also things like WhatsApp and communication stuff, or is it only things like Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that? Because then that would make things a little bit more tricky, I think. But it depends. It fully depends.
Let me tell you, in Australia, they have banned major platforms. WhatsApp is included. It's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube is basically television.
Yeah, that's different. But okay.
Snapchat and X, so all social media accounts.
Okay.
Age verification. So this is in Australia where it's actually been fully implemented. It's a nationwide ban. It's the first country to do it. They've said major platforms, the ones I've just mentioned, must block accounts for minors under 16. Age verification will be required. And apparently fines of up to 49 million Aussie dollars. Now, I don't know the conversion rate, but it sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. Okay, so texting and stuff like that, I guess seems okay. It's just social media platforms. I get that. Okay.
If WhatsApp do the dirty and they start adding photos and feeds and things to make it, then it would also be banned. But currently WhatsApp is it's like a fast text messaging service, so
that's
it's
all,
not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also really harsh, but I support it.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky to have grown up with without the pressures of social media.
Same.
Came in like 18, like when we were a bit older, and then therefore you're more equipped mentally, I suppose, to handle it.
Yeah.
And they do say a lot of the bullying doesn't happen in schools anymore.
Yeah.
It happens online. Like you saw that show Adolescence. Like there was.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of shows about stuff like that. Like yeah.
It was the bullying was happening online.
Yeah.
And so the schools are barely aware of it. The parents are barely aware of it. There you go. Let's keep an eye on that one. I think it's an amazing move by the UAE, but we'll follow closely. Let's move into our next story. We're talking about the cost of giving birth in Dubai. A new mum has sparked a conversation online after she's sharing what she paid for labour and delivery in Dubai. She revealed that giving birth can cost upwards of 30k, making it essential to have the right insurance cover in place.
According to her breakdown, a standard room can cost over 10,000 dirhams per night, and a VIP room can reach 21,000 dirhams per night. And she stayed there for 3 nights, bringing her room total to more than 32,000 dirhams.
But that's not all. An epidural can also cost an additional 3,400, with extra charges possible for medications, tests and hospital services can also be added as extra. Now, her experience is from a year ago, but it highlights how quickly maternity costs can add up.
Bottom line, if you're planning to welcome a little one in Dubai, you need to double check your insurance coverage and hospital package details to avoid any surprises.
I am planning on welcoming a little one in
Yeah.
Dubai. And it's really interesting. And I wonder about general insurance as well, because this is the first time I've really had to
Check
dig
it.
deep. And there is a lot of question marks over it. So I've decided to go outside of the insurance with the company because there's a doctor I like, and I think she's the lady I want to be there in the room with me because I trust her.
Yeah.
And I think that trust is everything. But so I've gone down my own insurance, which, by the way, I would not recommend. It's a nightmare.
Oh, really?
Apparently, if you're insured with your company, the approvals is just quicker and faster.
Oh, maybe. I haven't tried.
So you're less inclined to have kind of support from all the internal networks. It's very confusing. But at the end of the day, good insurance is everything. But she's right about the additional costs because you have your cost per hospital per 2 nights. Then if there's a complication such as a C-section, it's additional. Then if there's the epidural again, it's additional.
Exactly, keeps adding up.
So my insurance it goes up to 20,000 dirham.
Okay.
And I'm insured at 2 hospitals I'm going to choose between. Now, if there's additionals, I'm going to be paying on top of that myself.
Oh, yeah.
So you just need to really be aware of the costs before you go in, because you don't want a nasty bill slapped on you at the end.
Exactly. That's not what anybody wants. Obviously, I have no background on that myself, but I do know that my previous insurance, it did not cover maternity, and that's probably just because I'm not married. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We would have been with our work insurance. You just have to have a missus and then...
Exactly, and
you
that's
get
how it works.
Yeah.
But I haven't checked.
I would just be very clear. And also, someone highlighted something to me about, I had just assumed every room in Dubai was private.
Me too.
But someone said to me
too.
they paid an arm and a leg to make sure they have a private room. So I haven't looked into that yet, but there's a lot attached to it, and there's a heavy cost attached to it if you haven't done your research. So research wisely. Thank you, Yusuf, for the congrats. Due in June. But we'll move in. We're speaking more about fees in Dubai. We're talking about parking fees and a little bit of good news for students.
Exactly. This one, slightly different, but basically the parking fees that was expected to be increased at the University of Wollongong in Dubai was paused. And earlier this week, students at the University of Wollongong received an email that sent shockwaves across the campus. Not to be dramatic, the email stated parking fees would increase to 20 dirhams per hour, and there would be no more free hours on entry, and free parking entitlements would be adjusted to 2 hours, capped at 160 tickets per day. So safe to say, students didn't like it.
So students got together and they voiced their concerns about the affordability of this approach, especially for those who are doing a daily commute. This type of 20 dirham per hour is going to add up. And so now we have an update.
Exactly. The University of Wollongong Dubai has officially halted parking price hike following students' feedback. The university also shared that it is working closely with partners to prioritize students and improve parking arrangements moving forward. So for now, the 20 dirhams per hour plan is on pause.
I do remember going to a university, central Dubai area, can't remember the name for some reason, and being surprised of all of the paid parking.
Yeah.
But actually, when I think back to my university days in Dublin, and I was a city central university again, of course it was paid parking because it's the centre of the city. But not within the building for students.
Not within the building. Okay, I understand. But I went to the American University in Dubai, and essentially parking outside the parameters of the university was paid. And then you have 2 allotted parking spots in front of the university. They're for students, and those were free. So I will have to stick to what AUD did as well. I like that a lot more. And like this experience at the University of Wollongong in Dubai made me think, okay, fine. I know the place is very crowded. There's a lot of other universities, a lot of other educational institutions there. So maybe have it added in tuition instead. Something like that.
So you're saying as in make it free, but then it's just part of your annual payment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maximum is what I would say. If not free. But that's just my take on it, because I think, come on, students, 20 dirhams per hour, it's a lot.
20 dirhams per hour is possibly for some students an unfeasible ask for it to come at an immediate.
Yeah.
Right. So we look at parking fees in Dubai, and we look at, small changes even to the education system that we've discussed recently. And I think, especially when there's costs attached, people need time to adjust.
Exactly.
So if there's no cost attached, get used to it. But if it's asking someone who's doing the commute, maybe they're commuting from Sharjah because it's cheaper to live there, and they've got their car, and that was all aligned at the beginning of the year with their budgets, and then to kind of add that in, that's really difficult for someone to manage.
It's a surprise.
And so therefore, allowing people the kind of time, saying, look, this is something that's got to happen because of X, Y, and Z. If that was the case, we'll introduce it in the next academic year, so people can make those alternative arrangements.
Exactly. But introducing it all of a sudden, I think it just caught a lot of students off guard. But it was nice to see how they all rallied together, because obviously not every student is driving. Some students are, commuting with public transportation, or they're getting dropped off or something. But they still rallied together, and they got a bunch of signatures, like over 1,000 signatures, to express how they're feeling about this.
And the uni listened.
I know, that was really sweet.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
But kind of just in terms of the background and the context on the story, I don't have the full information. So there would have been a reason for this to happen. And so I wonder what will play out in future. But it's great that the university heard the students. I think it's so important, and that it's been removed for now, I guess.
Because I didn't even think about it. The medical center, when you're going to renew your ID, is very close by to the University of Wollongong, Dubai, Middlesex, and a couple of those universities. And I was actually a little bit shocked.
That's why I was there.
Yes. And I was a little bit shocked to see that there was paid parking. There was a visitor's parking that was paid. I was like, oh, then it's just the visitor's parking that's paid. But guess you never really know. But I was very shocked.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that, because again, I went to university and it was all free parking. Not that I was even driving at the time. I wasn't even driving, but I just thought it was very good. Good.
I just think students, they're not making money, and they need deals. I would live off a bagel and a packet of crisps for €4.50 back in the day, and it was delightful. I just wonder if Dubai has the same student deal situation. It must do in some ways. Lights out, probably. I don't know. It is Monday morning, and that is the Lovin Dubai show. If you're just tuning in and want to hear the whole show, you can also hear it on podcast format, wherever you get your podcast from, on the drive home. Farah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And that is a wrap. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. We're super excited for a guest who's a guy going viral on social media. He's a 16-year-old. He's got an amazing voice, and we'll be welcoming him tomorrow as well. Join us then. See you back here. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye. Bye.